She dropped her suitcase. It hit the polished floor of the airport with a hard crack that turned two heads. But she didn't care. Her hands were shaking. Not the cute, nervous kind of shaking. The kind that starts deep in your bones, that tells you something is wrong before your mind can catch up. Junho, she said into the phone, her voice barely steady. I'm here. A pause. Then his voice, soft, warm, familiar. The voice she had crossed two continents for. Welcome to Seoul, Amara. She closed her eyes for a second, relief rushing in so fast it almost made her dizzy. He was real. This wasn't a scam. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't one of those stories people whisper about in Lagos, shaking their heads. She had done it. She had actually done it. I can't believe I'm here, she said, letting out a breath that felt like it had been sitting in her chest for months. Where are you? I'm outside. Terminal 1, door C. I'm coming. She ended the call and looked down at her suitcase again. That suitcase carried everything. Not just clothes, not just documents, her life. Her resignation letter from the bank in Victoria Island, the apartment she had given up in Lekki, the car she had sold, the friends who had begged her to think twice. Amara, you don't know this man. I do, she had insisted. How? Through texts? Through video calls? He's different. Everyone is different online. But she hadn't listened, because Yuno had looked at her like she mattered. Even through a screen, because he had stayed up till 3 a.m. his time just to talk to her about nothing, because he had said things no one had ever said to her before. You don't have to be strong all the time. And she had believed him. She picked up her suitcase and started walking. Each step felt unreal. The airport was bright, massive, efficient. People moved fast, voices blended into languages she couldn't fully understand. Seoul, she was really here. She stepped outside. Cold air hit her face, sharp and unfamiliar. Lagos never felt like this. Lagos was heat, noise, movement. This was controlled, clean, almost too quiet. And then she saw him, standing by a black car, tall, even taller than she expected. Dark coat, hands in his pockets, his hair slightly messy like he had rushed out. For a second, she didn't move, because seeing someone on a screen is one thing, seeing them in real life is something else entirely. He looked real, more real than she had prepared for. Junho? She called. He turned, and when his eyes found her, something shifted in his expression. Surprise, then something softer. He walked toward her, slow at first, then faster. Amara. Her name sounded different in his accent, warmer. He stopped in front of her, close enough that she could see the slight crease between his brows. You're actually here, he said, almost like he didn't believe it. She laughed nervously. I could say the same thing. There was a moment, just a moment, where neither of them moved. Then he reached out and pulled her into a hug. It wasn't awkward. It wasn't hesitant. It was tight, real. And for a second, everything felt right. I missed you, he murmured. Her throat tightened. I missed you too. She pulled back slightly, looking up at him. You look exactly the same, she said. He smiled faintly. Is that a good thing? Yes, she said quickly. Very good. He took her suitcase from her hand. Come, he said. Let's go home. Home. The words settled into her chest like something fragile. She followed him. The car ride was quiet at first, not uncomfortable, just new. Seoul passed by in lights and movement. Tall buildings, neon signs, people everywhere. It was different from Lagos, but alive in its own way. You're quiet, he said, glancing at her. I'm trying to process everything, she admitted. It still feels like I'm dreaming, he nodded. It will feel like that for a while. She turned to him. You didn't think I would actually come, did you? He hesitated, just for a second. Then, I hoped you would. Hoped, not expected. She pushed the thought away. You said you wanted me here. I do. Then why does it sound like you're surprised? He exhaled slowly. Because people say things, he said, but they don't always follow through. She swallowed. I'm not people. He looked at her again. I know. The apartment was beautiful. Minimalist, modern, clean lines, big windows that overlooked the city. Amara stood in the middle of the living room, turning slowly. This is your place? She asked. He nodded. Do you like it? It's amazing. It felt like stepping into a different life, one she wasn't sure she fully belonged to yet. You'll get used to it, he said. She smiled. I hope so. He placed her suitcase by the wall. You must be tired, he said. Long flight. I am, but I don't want to sleep yet. Why? She looked at him. Because this is the first time I'm seeing you in real life, she said softly. I don't want to waste it. Something flickered in his eyes again, that same thing she couldn't quite name. But then he smiled. Then we don't sleep. The first week felt like a movie. They walked through Seoul at night, lights reflecting in her eyes. He showed her street food, taught her small Korean phrases, laughed when she mispronounced them. Annyeong haseyo, she tried. He shook his head, smiling. Close. Close is good enough. No, he said gently. I want you to get it right. You sound like my mother. Is that bad? No, she said, smiling. It means you care. He paused at that. They talked about everything, her childhood in Lagos, his life in Seoul, dreams, fears, future plans. You could work here, he said one night. Really? Yes. You're smart. You'll find something. You say it like it's easy. It won't be, he admitted, but it's possible. She leaned her head on his shoulder. I didn't come here for work, she said quietly. I know. I came for you. He didn't respond immediately, and when he did, his voice was softer than usual. I know. The second week was different. Subtle at first. Little things. He started coming home later. Work, he would say. Always work. At first, she didn't question it. He had warned her he was busy. But then the calls started, not in front of her. He would step out to the balcony, close the door, lower his voice. One night, she watched him through the glass. His expression was tense, serious. Not the Junho she knew. When he came back inside, she asked, Everything okay? He nodded too quickly. Yes. Who was that? Just work. She smiled, but something didn't sit right, because work doesn't make you look like that. The third week, she found the photograph. It wasn't hidden. That was the part that made it worse. It was sitting on a shelf in the study, a simple frame. She hadn't gone into that room before. Junho had always kept it closed, saying it was messy. But that day, curiosity won. She opened the door. It wasn't messy. It was organized, too organized, like a space that was used carefully, not casually. She stepped inside, and then she saw it. A photo. Junho, standing beside a woman and a child. A little girl, maybe 5 or 6, all three of them smiling, happy, whole. Amara's stomach dropped. No, she whispered. Her hands started shaking again, not the cute kind, the dangerous kind. She picked up the frame. Her heart was pounding so loudly she could hear it. No, she said again, louder this time. No, no, no. The door behind her opened. Amara? She turned. Junho stood there, frozen. His eyes went straight to the photo in her hands, and everything changed. What is this? She asked, her voice trembling. He didn't answer. Junho, she said louder now. What is this? He ran a hand through his hair. It's not what you think. Her laugh was sharp, broken. Oh, really? She said, because it looks exactly like what I think. It's complicated. Then explain it. He stepped closer. Amara, don't, she snapped, stepping back. Don't come closer. Just talk. He stopped, took a breath. That was my family. Was. The word hit her. Was? She repeated. Yes. Past tense? Yes. Her chest tightened. So you're not with her anymore? No. And the child? He hesitated, and that hesitation told her everything. Junho. She's my daughter. The world tilted, just like that moment on the stairs she used to imagine in other people's stories. But this time, it was her. You have a child, she said slowly. Yes. And you didn't think that was something I should know? I was going to tell you. When? She snapped. After I moved in? After I gave up my entire life? I didn't want to lose you. The honesty in that statement almost made it worse. So you lied, she said. I didn't lie. You hid the truth. I was afraid. Of what? She demanded. That I would make an informed decision. He looked at her, pain in his eyes. That you would leave. She let out a hollow laugh. And now, silence. She held up the photo. Where are they? They don't live here. That's not what I asked. He hesitated again. Junho? They're still in Seoul. Her breath caught. Does she know about me? No. Does your daughter know about me? No. Does anyone know about me? He didn't answer, and that silence was louder than anything he could have said. You were living 2 lives, she said quietly. No. Yes, she cut in. Yes, you were. Don't insult me by pretending otherwise. He stepped forward again. I love you. The words landed, but they felt different now. Heavier. Complicated. Love doesn't look like this, she said. It does when you're trying to protect something. Protect who? She asked. Me or yourself? He didn't answer. Tears filled her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. I crossed 2 continents for you, she said, her voice breaking despite her effort. I gave up everything. I know. And what did you give up? She demanded. Silence. Again. That same silence, and in that moment, the truth became painfully clear. She gave up everything. He gave up nothing, she whispered. He flinched. Amara, no, she said, shaking her head. No, don't say my name like that. She placed the photo back on the shelf, carefully, because even in her anger, she couldn't bring herself to break something that wasn't hers. I need air, she said. Don't go. She looked at him, really looked at the man she thought she knew, the man she loved, the stranger standing in front of her. I already left everything for you, she said softly. I'm not staying for this. And then she walked out. The cold hit her again, but this time it didn't feel sharp. It felt empty. Seoul was still bright, still alive, but now it felt unfamiliar, like a place that had been pretending to welcome her. She walked without direction, without a plan. Her phone buzzed. Junho, again and again and again. She didn't answer, because for the first time since she met him, she didn't know what he could possibly say that would fix this. And for the first time since she left Lagos, she wondered if coming here had been the biggest mistake of her life. But deep down, beneath the pain, beneath the betrayal, beneath the anger, a different feeling started to grow. Not regret. Not exactly. Something stronger, something quieter, something that said, this is not the end of your story. Not even close.